What if I told you that one small act of kindness could completely flip your entire world upside down? This homeless girl had no idea the stranger watching from his car would become her savior. Picture this. It's a freezing cold night in downtown Chicago. Snow is coming down hard, and most people are rushing to get inside somewhere warm. But not everyone has that luxury. Meet Sarah, a nice girl who's been living on the streets for 3 months after aging out of foster care. She's got nothing but the clothes on her back, a torn blanket, and whatever loose change she managed to collect that day. Now Sarah isn't your typical person experiencing homelessness. She's got this incredible spirit that refuses to break, no matter how tough things get. On this particular night, she's managed to scrape together just enough money to buy herself a small sandwich from the corner store. Her stomach has been growling for hours, and this little sandwich represents her first real meal in 2 days. As Sarah sits on the cold concrete steps outside an old building, clutching her sandwich like it's made of gold, she notices something that changes everything. About 10 feet away from her, there's an elderly man named Frank. He's in his 70s, wearing clothes that have seen better days, and he's shivering uncontrollably. Frank has been homeless for over a year after losing his job, and then his apartment. The winter has been especially brutal on him. Sarah watches Frank for a few minutes. She sees how he's trying to warm his hands by breathing on them, how he keeps looking around hopefully, probably searching for any kind of help or warmth. And here's where most people would probably think to themselves, well, at least I'm not as bad off as that guy, and then continue eating their food. But Sarah isn't most people. Without hesitation, Sarah gets up and walks over to Frank. She kneels down next to him and does something absolutely incredible. She breaks her sandwich in half and offers the bigger piece to Frank. Now remember, this is literally the only food Sarah has. She hasn't eaten in 2 days, and she has no idea where her next meal is coming from. But she sees someone who needs help more than she does, and she acts. Frank looks up at Sarah with tears in his eyes. He tries to refuse at first, telling her she needs it more because she's younger. But Sarah insists. She tells him, we're both hungry, but at least this way, neither of us has to be hungry alone. They sit together on those cold steps, sharing that sandwich and talking about their lives, their dreams, and how they ended up where they are. What Sarah doesn't know is that someone is watching this entire interaction unfold. About 30 feet away, sitting in a black SUV, is Marcus Thompson. Marcus is the CEO of Thompson Industries, one of the largest construction companies in the Midwest. He's worth about $50 million, and he was just leaving a late business dinner when he decided to take a phone call in his car before heading home. Marcus has been watching Sarah and Frank for the past 15 minutes, and he's completely blown away by what he just witnessed. Here's a young woman who literally has nothing, and she's giving away half of the only food she has to a complete stranger. Marcus has been in the business world for over 20 years, and he's seen people with millions of dollars refuse to help someone who's drowning. Yet here's Sarah, with absolutely nothing, showing more generosity than most wealthy people he knows. But Marcus doesn't just watch and drive away. He's genuinely moved by what he's seen, and he wants to know more about this remarkable young woman. He gets out of his car and approaches Sarah and Frank. At first, they are both a bit suspicious. A well-dressed man approaching 2 homeless people at night. That could go a lot of different ways, and most of them aren't good. But Marcus is gentle and respectful. He introduces himself and asks if he can buy them both a hot meal from the diner across the street. Sarah and Frank are hesitant at first, but something about Marcus feels genuine. They agree, and the 3 of them head to the diner. Over coffee and warm food, Marcus learns Sarah's story. She grew up in foster care, bouncing from home to home. She was a strata student who dreamed of going to college. But when she turned 18, she aged out of the system with nowhere to go. She tried working minimum wage jobs, but without a permanent address or reliable transportation, keeping a job became impossible. She ended up on the streets, but she never lost her determination to make something of herself. Frank shares his story too. He worked as a maintenance supervisor for 30 years until the company downsized. At his age, finding new work was nearly impossible. His savings ran out. He lost his apartment, and pride kept him from reaching out to family until it was too late. Marcus is quiet for most of the conversation, just listening and observing. He's looking at Sarah, and he sees something that most people miss when they look at homeless individuals. He sees potential. He sees intelligence. He sees character. And he sees someone who, despite having every reason to be bitter and angry at the world, chooses kindness instead. Here's where the story takes an incredible turn. Marcus doesn't just buy them a meal and wish them well. He offers Sarah something that will change her life forever. He tells her about a program his company has been developing called Second Chances. It's designed to help people who've fallen through the cracks get back on their feet. The program provides temporary housing, job training, and eventually full-time employment for people who show the right character and determination. Sarah can hardly believe what she's hearing. She asks Marcus why he's doing this, why he's helping a complete stranger. Marcus tells her, "I've been successful in business, but tonight you taught me something about success that I'd forgotten. Real success isn't about what you have, it's about what you're willing to give away. You had one sandwich and gave away half. Most people I know have everything and give away nothing." But Marcus doesn't stop there. He also makes sure Frank gets the help he needs. He connects him with social services and helps him find temporary housing while they work on getting him into a senior living facility that accepts his social security benefits. Within a week, Sarah is in a small but comfortable apartment that Thompson Industries provides for program participants. She's enrolled in online college courses that the company pays for, and she's working part-time in the company's administrative offices while she studies. For the first time in months, she has hope for the future. The program works because it doesn't just give people handouts. It gives them opportunities to rebuild their lives with dignity. Sarah thrives in this environment. She's naturally good with people and has great organizational skills. Within 6 months, she's been promoted to a coordinator role, helping other people who've been through similar situations. 2 years later, Sarah graduates with a degree in social work, and Marcus offers her a position heading up the Second Chances program. Full-time, she becomes the face of the program, sharing her story and helping hundreds of other people transition from homelessness to stability. Frank, meanwhile, has become like a grandfather figure to Sarah. The senior living facility where he now lives has a volunteer program, and Frank spends his time mentoring young people who are struggling. The friendship that began over half a sandwich has become one of the most meaningful relationships in both of their lives. But here's the most incredible part of this story. That moment of kindness on a cold Chicago night didn't just change Sarah's life or Frank's life. It changed Marcus too. Witnessing Sarah's selflessness reminded him why he went into business in the first place. He wanted to make a difference in the world. But somewhere along the way, he'd gotten caught up in profits and growth and forgotten about people. The Second Chances program has now helped over 500 people transition from homelessness to stable employment. It's become a model that other companies across the country have adopted. Marcus regularly speaks at business conferences about the importance of corporate social responsibility, and he always tells Sarah's story. Sarah often says that the sandwich she shared with Frank was the best investment she ever made. She gave away half of what little she had, and the universe gave her back a whole new life. It's a reminder that kindness isn't about how much you have to give. It's about your willingness to share whatever you do have with someone who needs it more. Sometimes the smallest acts of compassion create the biggest changes in the world. Want to see more stories that'll restore your faith in humanity? Click that next video right now.